Let's get started with part 2 in this video of Gesso and No Gesso. Alrighty, let's get started with the painting of these little guys. And remember, this is painted on a base of clear gesso, and I mixed the inktints with white gesso. This is painted on No Gesso. There's no gesso on this page, and it is also painted with the inktints and water. This is a little bulky because of the water. I was a little too, I get it a little too wet, more than the paper could take, but I managed to rescue it. I can, if I want, put a clear gesso all over this page or some matte medium to preserve it and to make it not so fragile. But let's get to it. Enjoy the video. See you next time. Bye for now. I chose this brush to keep things as simple as possible. It can cover both small and slightly larger areas that is more or less detailed areas. I use a wet wipe to move some paint around and blend the paint a little better, or just to remove it. I could have diluted it with a bit of water on the brush and then dabbed it with a tissue as with regular watercolors. The page No Gesso quickly absorbs the inktints and dries up, and it is no longer possible to lift it off. If it is not possible to lift any paint off, you can try to blend it with the white inktints to lighten it or to get a more even look. To paint it darker, you need to apply more layers on the No Gesso page, either with the same color or you can use the complementary color and it will make it darker. Let's continue on the gesso page. You may immediately notice that the pigment in the inktints doesn't blend as easily as on the No Gesso page. It takes a bit more work to achieve the same effect as on the No Gesso page. On the other hand, the pigment in the inktints is darker right away and doesn't require as many layers as it does on the No Gesso page. The brush also glides more easily over the paper. The drying time is longer on the gesso page, so I can move the inktints around for a longer time. Additionally, as you will see shortly, I can use white gesso to lighten the colors a bit, as long as it is still wet. It will mix very well with the white gesso. Otherwise, you can let it dry and use the white gesso on top. Sometimes it will make the inktints look a little dull, so you will have to put another thin layer of the inktints on top again to make it come alive. I am not a fan of the soles on the boots, and even though I work intensively on both sides of the pages, I'm still not happy with them. Therefore, I choose to use white gesso to tone down the soles on the gesso page and simply paint over the soles with some inktints diluted with water on the No Gesso page. The texture is still present underneath on both pages and adds a bit of edge to the soles, which I like. It's somewhat of a personal preference whether you want to paint on a gesso primed surface or just paint with water and paint. I like both. I probably choose to apply matte medium on the No Gesso page when finished, which adds a protective layer and makes it easier to paint on the back of the page later on. Before I paint on the front cover of my art journal, I'll also prime it with matte medium to make the paper stronger and easier to work with. I use a black Stabilo oil pencil to write in the soles to create some graphics and interest. I used too much water on the No Gesso page, and now I need to be a little bit careful and wait for it to dry before applying more layers or writing. I am not the most patient artist, and that is a step I easily can skip, and then it will come back to haunt me by getting muddy or something like that. So, be true to the drying time for your own sake. Remember to subscribe to my channel and click the little bell if you have not done so already, and you will get notified when my next video is up. I hope you enjoyed the video and inspired in your own painting process. Bye for now, have a nice day, and thanks for watching.